My Lord with thee, crucified. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Victoria Ayodele-Fash. If it's your first time here, thank you so much for joining me. If you're a return subscriber, you know I love you, I appreciate you so much. Thank you for always coming back. Okay, so I am really excited to finally be recording a video. It's been a while. Okay, so I traveled to Houston. You guys know what the gist. Okay, if you've been following my channel, you know that already. Okay, so thank you guys. A very special shout out to all of you because I am unable to do a shout out to a subscriber today because my laptop decided to pack up yesterday. Yes, my laptop stopped working. Yeah, what a time when the semester just started. So anyway, so yeah, that happened. So because of that, I am unable to edit this video, so this is going to be a raw video, okay? And just in case the Lord is laying it in your heart to sow a laptop in the life of somebody, I am an available vessel, okay? Anyway, so yes guys, so today in the last video I did about, I shared my own experience of schooling in the United States and some of the things that, I went through and why I thought UK may have been an alternative or a better alternative, right? But in the comments of that video, many of you were like, okay, you wanted to know the difference between schooling in the UK and schooling in the US and why I preferred the UK to the US. Well, I didn't say I preferred it, okay? I just said that this is the situation I'm having here, and if I was in the UK, I probably would not be in that situation. That is not to say that the UK does not have its own situation, okay? So we'll be handling or be talking about those things here. So in case you're new to this channel, my name is Victoria and I school here in the United States. I'm having my master's program. And okay, and then I have a sister in the UK who is also having she's rounding up with a master's program in the UK. So yes, I know a little bit, or at least enough, about schooling or studying in the UK, and I have experience studying in the United States, and it is through these experiences and my knowledge that I will be having this video, okay? So basically, this is from my own eyes. What are some of the advantages of schooling in the United States, and what are seemingly the disadvantages of schooling in the United States, and why the UK might be a better equivalent, or why the United States might be a better equivalent, okay? So depending on your situation, you have to decide, okay? So yeah, that's what we'll be talking about in this video, okay? So let us get right into it. The first thing that I will talk about is the US has more scholarships. Yeah, it is very difficult for you to get a fully funded scholarship in the UK, and that is true. Like it's almost impossible for you to get it as an international student unless you're applying for maybe Fulbright scholarship or some Commonwealth scholarship, which you have a lot of people competing for, and they end up going for only a few of them. All right, and that is unlike the US. In the US, there are several scholarships you can get in your school. You can get up to 50% scholarship and you can get up to 100% scholarship. I am studying in the US and I'm not paying Shingbang, okay? I'm not paying 1 naira to be able to go to school, and that's because apart from the scholarships that you can apply for, which is like there's the equivalent of Fulbright for the US. I cannot remember. It's in my head somewhere, but I cannot remember. You can apply for those. There are other scholarships that that will give you fully funded, for you, that will fully fund your studies in the school. But also the school also usually have assistantships. That is something you don't see in the UK. They don't have assistantships, okay? So assistantships are basically either you're a teaching assistant or you're a graduate assistant, okay? As a grad assistant, I am a graduate assistant. I help with a lot of administrative enrollment and all of that in a particular departments in my school, right? I have a lot of friends that came from Nigeria also and from other parts of Africa that are also an either teaching assistant, that is, they're a teaching assistant in the US. And when you come as a GA or a TA, you get fully funded, like your tuition is fully funded. It's either they fund you so United States is assistantship is usually either in-state. In-state means that they will pay you the equivalent of a United States student, which is usually half of your tuition, right? Or you get an out-of-state. I always say, see, if you want to take that scholarship route, it's better you take out-of-state, right? So yeah, so I got an out-of-state scholarship. All of my friends that I have here also got out-of-state scholarship. That is, they pay you entire tuition, you work for the school, and then they pay you a stipend at the end of the month. Now, whether the stipend is able to help you to settle in here, it's another conversation. But yes, when it comes to scholarship opportunities, the US is the best option. You will get, no matter what, you will get something to do. Some people don't get. I know someone who when she came here, she did not get scholarship, she did not get assistantship. She only came with enough money to sponsor one credit course. But when she got in here, she got an assistantship with the school. So you understand. So you can even come, and maybe in your second year or in your second semester, you can get an assistantship. So yes, you can look at the website of your school, and it depends on the school you're applying to. Okay, you know, there are lots of videos that will tell you about schools that give. My school is one, like, especially, see, if you're a black person and you absolutely want to school in the US, there are disadvantages to this. But if you absolutely want to school in the US, go and look for PWI schools. Those are predominantly white institutions, okay? Yeah, I'm not going to tell you have the best experiences there because, again, it's predominantly white. They are always looking for, like, black people, international students to be able to, you know, add to their quota, so to speak. So you'll most likely get an assistantship there, an assistantship position to come to the school. So yeah, that is one advantage of schooling in the US. Scholarships you will get, but in the UK you don't. Okay, the highest scholarship I've ever heard anyone get in the UK is like maybe £5,000. Those are called partial scholarships for you, just to entice you to come. And then yeah, so you get that in the US. Okay, the next thing that I will talk about is accommodation is easily accessible in the US. Well, it depends on where you stay, okay? For the most part of it, okay, accommodation is easily accessible. If you stay in places like New York, you know, California and the rest of them, it might be a little bit difficult, but not as difficult as it is, like, at least that's what I've been hearing in the UK. Like, it's so strict over there. And I know that, you know, because of the influx of, you know, international students, it's even more difficult for you to get accommodation. So yeah, accommodation is way more, you can easily get accommodation if you have your money, okay? You gotta have your money, you will get a place to stay, okay? So yeah, so the money is supposed to be used to pay school fees. If you have it, you can definitely get a comfortable apartment, whichever one you want, you know, in the US. Okay, another thing that I want to talk about is that you get to experience a lot of diversity. Yeah, unlike the UK. Yeah, also in the UK is also quite a diverse place. You have people from different parts of the world coming in, but trust me, it is nothing like the US. If you absolutely like to experience new cultures, experience new people, experience a new environment, experience, you know, different types of weather and stuff like that, the US is the place for you. If you're a person that likes all those things and you want to experience from, like, I've been to the US twice and have made friends with Rwanda, in Bali, in in the UK. I've made friends in Pakistan. I've made, like, everywhere. Like, I can literally say that I know somebody in almost half of the 1/4 of the world, okay, because of the people that I've come to meet. I've experienced living with people of different or diverse backgrounds, right? You get a lot of that here. I'm sure there might be, you know, a lot of that also in the UK, but trust me, in the US is like the hub for a lot of countries to come. So yeah, you get to experience a lot of that. Another thing I said here is US has more career opportunities. Yes, no capping, okay? When you're looking for the big organizations, all of them, their head office are here, okay? And they are always looking for people to employ. The only problem though is if you will get employed because if you watch my last video, you'll know, right? It is not impossible, but you know, it takes a lot. Unlike the UK, right? You know, getting the US will first go for a US citizen before they offer a job to an international, you know, citizen or an international person. You have to be exceedingly good at what you do and be like, you know, or you know somebody, even knows, well, yeah, you know somebody, trust me, it's the same here. You know somebody that knows somebody, you can get connection, okay? But when you're looking for career opportunities, like, you will find it here, and good pay, you know, when it comes to infrastructures and schools, like guys, no cap, okay? So yeah, career opportunities, there are a lot of it here, unlike the UK where, you know, the population in the UK is like, most of them are old aged people, okay? So many of the jobs there are care jobs because they needed to take care of, you know, those people. And you know, trust me, when it comes to professional opportunities, the US is the best option for you if that's what you're really looking forward to. Again, now getting those opportunities and them allowing you to get those opportunities is a different situation, okay? It is not impossible. I know friends, like guys, I know people came here and they're doing very well. It did not happen overnight. They went through a lot, but eventually, if you are able to get your feet, trust me, you can make it very well in the US, okay? All right, the next thing that I have here is that the schools are more aesthetically pleasing. Trust me, I have seen schools in the UK, okay? when it comes to aesthetic, you cannot compare, okay? So if you're the kind of person that likes to, you want a school where you have, lounges and you have places where you can take pictures and stuff like that, which is weird because, you came to school to learn. And most times, even with those infrastructure, my school is just like one school in the valley, right? But if you get to my school, you will know that you entered school, okay? There's sometimes I just go there and I just want to take a video, not because I want to share, it's just because I want to be able to look back on those videos and say I was here, okay? Because the US actually spends a lot in making the environment so pleasant, so techy, you understand? So you enter into the class, it's comfortable, but it's so good, it looks good, it feels good. I'm sure there are some schools in the UK, but trust me, majority of the schools in the US, exceedingly, okay? I went to the art school in my school. my god if you know, and that is just my school, just to show you, like, yeah, they're always, I think the more finer your school is, the more you get funding. I don't know the mindsets behind it, but yeah, aesthetically the US, I give it to them, okay? And the US has a lot of more recognized schools than the UK. If you look at the ranking, okay, there are lots of schools here that are more recognized. So if you're looking to, go to Ivy League school, there are a number of them also in the UK that are recognized globally, right? However, they're not as much as the US, so your opportunities or the probability that you will get into one of the Ivy League schools is higher here. I have a friend who is actually actually two. I have one in Columbia, I have one in Oxford University. Those are like Ivy League schools, right? And they are schooling there for free, okay? For absolute free. So your chances of getting to one of those schools here is actually very, very high, because most of their schools are like, they have a lot of top leading, or yeah, what did I call it here? Recognized schools globally. Okay, what else? What else in the US? What else? Let's go to the UK. US is a really good place. If you have the scholar, and I think the scholarship is the biggest thing, right? Anyway, so schooling in the UK is way cheaper. So I hear people complaining and saying that, oh, the UK charges. Maybe if you're comparing it to like Turkey, I have a friend who is studying in Turkey. Our entire school fees is like 1 million naira, or let us even 1.5 to cap everything. So if you're looking for schools that are affordable in Europe, Turkey is a good place. Norway, you school for free. Literally you put deposits, and then when you get there, they give you a deposit back. Schooling is free, right? But Norway, you need to also know that Norway is one of the most expensive places to live in the whole world. So accommodation and other things, but then you get a job. It's a very nice place to live. So it depends on where you are comparing, fees in the UK to. If you compare it to schools in Germany, maybe they don't, it doesn't cost as much. But if you're comparing school fees in the UK to school fees in the US, my sister, you are wrong. And you are saying that UK is expensive. You don't know, okay? So I have the statistics here, and this was like this was done in 2012. So the average school fees in a private university in the US is around $29,000, right? Yeah, $29,000. That was in 2012. Trust me, that is not it now. My particular course that I'm taking, that same course in the UK for 2 years is about £18,000, right? If you're converting that to dollars, let's say it is like $19,000. Let's even say $20,000 for an international student. For people who are here, or citizens, is like half of that, right? In the UK, my school fees, if you convert it to dollars, about 19,000, let's say 20,000 ish dollars, right? In the US, my school fees is $40,000. That is 2 times the amount of what I would be paying if I was having this course in the UK. Okay, so my dear, don't come and tell me my ears that UK school fees is expensive, because as far as I'm concerned, when it comes to the US is so expensive. And that's because many of the schools, they put in too much in making the school look so good. They spend a lot of money in buildings and infrastructures and stuff like that. When it comes to, I don't want to go there, but anyway, so yeah, when it comes to fees, trust me, I heard that the government usually chooses the cap for how much you can charge international students, and then the schools decide, okay, this is the cap. Maybe the government caps it, like, I think the highest I've seen is like 17,000 or maybe 20,000 pounds in the UK, and that's maybe you are going for medical courses or whatever. But the average amount is 18,000 pounds for 2 years course. Okay, and if you're going for 1 year, you will get 9,000 pounds. Depending on the school you want to go to, you will get like 15,000 highest in the UK. you never, not here. Okay, you will not get $10,000 course unless you're coming to do short courses or summer classes. In short, I wanted to do register, you know, my husband for a class, or my husband wanted to register for a class in the UK a while ago, and it's a 24 weeks class, and it's online, and it's about $11,000. Yes, that's for a short course. Okay, if you want to take a short course here, that's where you can get like $10,000, you know, course, or $12,000 course. But if you're coming for a master's program, you have about 40,000. Why do you think that a lot of people in the UK have student loans, sorry, in the US rather, have student loans that they pay till the day they die? So imagine paying that from your graduate school, sorry, from your scholarship, your undergrad to graduate school. People have hundreds of thousands of student loans that is citizens, not even the ones paying international fees. So imagine you. And that's why our politicians that send their children here, it's only them that can afford it, my sister. This, or you know, the big people in Nigeria. Anyways, you send your kids here, you're paying in thousands of dollars. It doesn't include accommodation, it does not include feeding, it does not include transportation and stuff like that. So yeah, it is expensive. Schooling is super expensive in the US. No cap. Okay, in the UK it's affordable. I can go to the UK, work and pay my tuition. Okay, in the US it's almost impossible, even if you work the entire 2 years, unless you get a job, you know, in a big place. Like in the UK, I can work here jobs and still be able to pay my school fees. You cannot. It's almost impossible for you to do it. Why will you pay 40,000? And that's my own cost, and I'm in an art school. I have a friend who came in last week. He's in an engineering school. His class is about $60-something thousand. Okay, who's gonna get my dear? He also came on assistantship, so yeah, it's a lot. Anyway, so yeah, schooling is expensive here. Okay, admission, getting admission in the UK is so easy, my sister. I got admission in the UK. Okay. Admission in the UK is so easy. You don't even pay admission fee. You don't pay application fee. In the US, you have to pay application fees to apply. The same thing in Canada. You have to pay about $70 or, you know, $70 to $100, and schools charge $150 for you to be able to apply. They've not given you admission just to be able to apply. In the UK, you can apply to as many schools as you want, and you don't get charged application fee. Okay, and getting admission is super easy than getting admission here, because it's competitive. First of all, because you also know that you're coming here, you're looking for assistantship. So some people, they get the admission, they don't get the assistantship, they fall out, or they, you know, they, like for me, I deferred my first year because I didn't get the assistantship and I didn't want to apply for others, right? So anyways, yeah, I deferred, and then the next semester I got it, because there is absolutely no way I would be in this country if I did not have assistantship. Okay, so it is so easy for you to get. Like, just write. In short, some schools, there was an application I did while, you know, a while ago, and you know, they said 500 words for your statement of purpose. 500 words. In the US, you will write. You will write and write, and then you have to proofread it, and my sister, is easy to get admission in the UK than it is in. Why do you think most people are flocking to the UK? You just need to get a letter from your lecturer. In the US, you put the emails when you're applying, you put the email of your lecturers or whoever your references are, and they send them the link, you know, and they, you know, they get back to the school. It's super difficult to get into schools in the US than it is to get into the UK. Okay. Another thing I have is, if you have a spouse, the UK is the best option for you, because your spouse can work. Okay, and I think this is the biggest break for me, maybe because I'm married. Okay, and yeah, your spouse can work, and you can also work up to 20 hours. Okay, in the US, however, they tell you can work 20 hours a week. 20 hours a week, right? 20 hours a week, yeah. 20 hours a week. However, you cannot work outside schools except in, you know, extremely different circumstances. Okay, they don't allow you to work out of school. So if there are no jobs in schools, in the school, what's the essence of the 20 hours? Okay, so yeah, my dear, it's all difficult. But in the UK, if you have a spouse, your spouse can work anytime. They can work as many hours as possible to be able to help you to pay your fees. You also can work 20 hours to also be able to, you know, assist yourself, right? So it's the best. But in the US, when your spouse comes to meet you eventually, if they even come, because that's the next point, if they allow them to come, my dear, if they allow them to come, Then they come and they're unable to work. So imagine your husband, who is probably a manager, let's even say he's a manager, where he's coming from in Nigeria. He now came here and is not sitting down doing nothing. That's really, really tough. Okay, so yeah, you get to work in the UK, your husband get to work, you also get to work, and you will get something to do. It might not be the best, and that's the thing in the US. In the US, if you're here legally, you will get good jobs. In the UK, even if you're there legally, you might not get the best jobs unless you move or you are staying close to London or Manchester or cities that, you know, they are like hubs for jobs and stuff like that. So yeah, that's another thing. However, you could still work. There's dignity in labor in the West. It's in Nigeria that there's no dignity in labor. It's in Nigeria that they would, a clerk in bank will be carrying shoulder up for a conductor, my sister. At the end of the day, if you check how much you are bringing home, you might be bringing 2,000, 50,000 naira home. That conductor might be bringing 200,000 at the end of the month. So there's dignity in labor. Whether you are washing pants or you are washing dead body or you are doing whatever, as long as you're able to provide and it's a legitimate job, there is dignity in labor in the Western world. Okay, yeah, so at the end of the day, you're able to pay your school fees, you're able to get a place, you're able to settle down, and then, oh well, let's not get there first. So yeah, so what was I talking about? Yeah, if you have spouse, UK is the best option for you. Okay, because you and your spouse coming here. If you work under G, they call it under G here. If you do underground work, it's possible for you to do work that are not documented, but if you get caught, my sister, you're going back. And I never advise you to do that, because again, those are jobs you cannot reference to. Those are jobs you are not paying taxes for. Those are, my sister, it's not even good. I know someone who is doing that, and it's crazy. They treat you like trash. They don't pay you what they're supposed to pay. You earn less than minimum wages because they know you don't have another choice. It's ridiculous, and I would never advise you to do that. Okay, anyway, so where was I? Number 6 is UK gives you opportunity to stay back for 2 years or 2 years without getting a job after school. Do you know what that means? Although you have to apply for graduate visa, and you know, yeah, but anyways, you get work for 2 years after school and you don't need a job. In the US, you have 30 days after you finish your school to carry your load and pack out and leave the country, unless you get OPT. And OPT is only given, is it OPT or CPT? One of them. OPT is like internship after school, and they only give it to you if you get a job that is related. No, wait, I don't think, shall I get a job? You have to get a job to be able to apply for OPT, and I think it has to be related to your school. I'm not sure if OPT or CPT. Anyways, in the very minimum, you gotta get a job for you to remain here, and they only give you the optical practical training is only for 1 year. If you're in STEM courses like that, science, tech, engineering, and is it mathematician, wherever it is, then they give you up to 2 years of staying here. And if you're lucky, you can get a job, you know, a job that is willing to file for you. If you don't get a job that is willing to file for you, when you finish that your optical training after 1 year, you go back. If you're in STEM courses, it's 2 years, and maybe you get out. Maybe you would have decided where you want to go. Some people, after they do that, they move to Canada, they relocate, they do something else with their life. Okay, so it's not like you know, it's that bad. However, if after 30 days you don't get something doing, you don't apply for your optical practical training, my sister, you are out of what they call it, out of status. And once you get out of status, you are an illegal immigrant in the US. So yeah, but the UK, 2 years, whether you get job, you don't get job. And they're saying that now they want to even reduce it to 6 months. Even if it's 6 months, okay, the likelihood that you get something to do is higher, right? Because you have 6 months. Imagine you've been given 30 days to get your shit together, 30 days to get a job. My sister, it's easy. I shouldn't say something else. And this is not just for students. These are for people that, because, you know, recently Facebook and the rest of these tech companies that actually laid off their staff, right? You understand that immediately they got laid off, they have 30 days to leave the US. My dear, it is well. Let's move on. Okay, so yeah. Wait, no, sorry, not 30 days, 60 days. Apologies, 60 days. It's 60 days, not 30 days. So you have 60 days after the day of your graduation to leave the US. So you have 2 months to either get something to do, a work that is willing to sponsor your visa, which is incredibly rare unless you get one of those big organizations, because sponsoring visas here is not even that easy. Okay, so yeah. Anyways, the 7th thing that I have here is UK schools are more lecture based, and I consider that a good thing because sure, here in the US is assessment based. In the US, my dear, UK, and UK is like secondary school, because when you go to class, you know, at the end of the semester, then you write exam. You see this school that I'm in, this is my own class. If you hear what other people are passing through, when me and my fellow Africans, we sit down, we ask ourselves, who sent us? Who sent us to school? Who brought? What are we looking for? My dear, you write papers upon papers every week. For instance, I have a class I'm taking now that every week I have to read 7 articles, and I'm not talking about 5 pages article. I'm talking about 25 pages article for one, and you have to read 7 of them. You have to summarize each of them, and then you have to write a reflection on them, my dear. And then when you're done, you come to class, and every week, and this is just one class, and I take 3 classes a semester on each of them, and then that's just one. Then you have a full project you have to do for the semester. Every semester you have a project. So the project might involve you doing a full-blown research where you know, interview people, you apply to IRB, you do the research, the literature review for 3 classes. Sister, schooling, see, if you're coming to school, don't think that is like, you know, where you can just be doing anyhow. You have to attend classes every class. You have to do assignments every week, because you are assessed by every week. You are assessed, and if you fall short at any time, they can ask you to go. And once they report you to the global whatever international standard, you feel like you're not meeting your whatever, they will withdraw your status and you are going back home. So my dear, I know people that came to the US. I know somebody, a friend of a friend, who came to the US, and when he saw that this one have passed my power, he told the school that he wanted to take mental break for 1 year, for 1 semester. And the problem also is that it's only if you're lucky they will let you stay. Most times they will tell you to go and do the 1 semester in your house. When you are ready to school, you should come back. My dear, so you go back to your country and then come back when you're really ready to school. So when you come here, if you're coming to school, you will school. It's not like the UK, you know, some people, they skip class to go and work. If you do that here, my sister is okay. Don't say you didn't want to be my Yoruba teacher in secondary school will say, to be forewarned is to be forearmed. You to be forewarned is to be forearmed. Okay, just know that you've been warned. When you come here, you will study. You will write a assessment papers. It's not assignments. It's not you are coming to class and they are telling you okay, they give you assignment A or B. My sister, you will write papers. You will sit down, you will write papers. You will read literatures. You will evaluate literature. You will review literatures. You will, oh my god. And it depends on the course that you are taking, because some people don't even want to know. So the last thing I'll talk about, because this video has become longer than I anticipated, UK courses are shorter than the US, yes. Most UK courses, they are so easy and short. Like, you go in for a year and you're done. Even the 2 years courses you have in the UK, you only school for 1 year, and then the last year they place you, it's like a placement, they place you for internship. That's it, right? Yeah, in the US, if you say you're coming to school for 2 years, you school for 2 years. Okay, so the first year is fully, you are being taught, you are writing paper, you are being assessed, you are doing projects every semester for each classes you were taking. You are writing a research work, you're doing a full-blown project. That's one. Okay, and then the second year, that's for the first and second semester. And then the second semester, for one of your class, you either be doing, so for my school, they give you the option of either doing internship, research, or you do in an exam. You know, if you're a person that likes to write exams. But trust me, writing exam is, I would never advise anybody, because you cover so much in those 2 years. It's hard for you to put everything to memory, right? Ask me what I learned last semester. Maybe I'll be able to remember 50%, because it's much or plenty. So you can't even do that, right? And if you do internship, so for one of the classes, you either be doing your internship. And the internship is not like you're going to work, or you are doing a project for, you choose an organization and you do a project for them, right? So you are also writing in the internship that you are doing, okay? And then the other 2 classes is like normal classes. You are still going, you are still doing assignments every week, you're still writing papers, you're still doing literature review, you're still doing methodologies, you're still, my sister, in the UK, when it comes to schooling in the UK, I'm not saying they don't give you assignments in the UK. I'm sure the assignments and stuff, but trust me, the US is assessment based. In the UK, it's taught. You go to masters for thoughts program. In the US, you do either you do research or you do internship. And even in your internship, there's research inside, because you are still doing literature, you are still doing evaluation, you are still, my sister, US schooling in US It's not rice and beans. If you're not ready to school, this is not the right place for you. Okay, so if there's anything that I left out and you're a student here, or you have experience schooling here, let me know in the comment section. And yes, I got the last video I did, I got a couple of emails from people who were like telling me, that thing you said, I want to share my experience and stuff like that. I got your email. Sorry I have not responded to the emails. I will respond. It's been a tough week. I've been moving. I moved. I'm sure you guys will not notice because it's the same estate, so to speak, same apartment building, but I moved buildings. Okay, so I had to move